big idea is your central nervous system. Your central nervous system is made up of your brain and spinal cord and is continually monitoring and coordinating every single function in your body. If you think of the brain as a central computer that controls and coordinates all the functions of your body, then the nervous system is like a communication network that relays messages back and forth from the brain to different parts of the body via the spinal cord. The spinal cord is a long bundle of nerve tissue which extends from the lower part of your brain down through your spinal column. Along the way, smaller braids branch off from the cord and pass out from the spine between each of the movable vertebrae. These braids divide again and again into tiny nerve fibers and fill the entire body, going to each cell, organ, and tissue. Every human has an estimated 15 billion nerve cells, sending and receiving messages through the spinal cord. Now, our nervous system is extremely delicate. So what protects it? Our spine. This is what a normal healthy spine looks like. It has 24 movable vertebrae, each working with the one above and below it. A disc separates the vertebrae and acts like a shock absorber and a spacer for the nerve. So why is a healthy spine so important? Well, it protects the spinal cord and the delicate nerve tissue and allows us to bend, flex, twist and move freely without compromising the nerves. If the spine is not moving freely, it's referred to as a vertebral subluxation complex, or for short, a subluxation. Is that right? Subluxation. Is there another word we can use for it? No? Okay. This is when two or more vertebrae have lost their normal motion and or position. This can cause interruption to the normal nerve flow and interfere with the communication from the brain to the body and from the body back to the brain. Research at the University of Colorado found that it only took between 8 to 10 millimeters of mercury pressure to reduce the nerve supply by up to 60%. That's about the weight of a small coin. Compression can exist without pain, so that means where the nerve goes to can be robbed of up to 60% of its nerve supply and you may not even feel it. This is what is referred to as a silent subluxation. So what happens when you have a subluxation? That area can start to degenerate in as little as 2 weeks. This degeneration causes scar tissue to develop, which leads to more scar tissue. This degenerative process can continue as long as the immobilization is present, and this type of degeneration is preventable. Spinal degeneration has nothing to do with how old you are. You can be 60 years old and have a perfectly healthy spine, or you can be 10 and have a spine that's already showing signs of degeneration. It all depends on how and when the subluxation occurred. If the nerve supply to anywhere in the body is disturbed, it can eventually lead to a symptom. Symptoms are the only way for your body to let you know that something's wrong. So let's go back to the same spine again. If you have nerve interference in the cervical spine, it can lead to headaches, migraines, lowered immune system, sinus troubles, hay fever, abnormal sleep patterns, eczema, hearing loss, tonsillitis, chronic cough, croup, pins and needles into the arms and hands. In the thoracic spine, asthma, functional heart problems, bronchitis, influenza, gallbladder troubles, liver conditions, blood pressure problems, indigestion, heartburn, gastritis, lowered immunity, allergies, kidney troubles, chronic tiredness. In the lower back, constipation, menstrual problems, bedwetting, knee problems, sciatica, backache, poor circulation, swollen ankles, weakness into legs and cramping. Wow, I'm out of breath, and that's naming only a few. Did you know that less than 10% of your nervous system perceives pain? So quite often, by the time pain and symptoms appear, the nerve interference could have been present for months or even years. Think about when a person has a heart attack or a stroke. They don't actually feel the arteries blocking up and usually don't know anything's wrong until it's too late. Painkillers and anti-inflammatories can cover up the symptoms, but they don't get to the cause of the problem. By masking these symptoms, it allows the problem to continue to develop silently until there's a major health crisis. We all know about the damaging side effects that can occur from long-term drug use. So why continue filling your body with drugs to hide the cause of the problem? Now you might be wondering what causes subluxations to occur. Gardening, sports, computer work, pregnancy, improper lifting, arguments, food additives, chemicals, birth, poor posture, to name but a few. There can also be mental causes, such as stress. The average 5-year-old has had approximately 2,000 falls, of which 200 are considered serious. But usually an isolated event alone is not to blame. It's an accumulation of many of life's little incidents and accidents. Recent research has found that in births that required intervention by a doctor, which means they use forceps, suction or excessive force, 95% had upper neck injuries. So it's a smart decision to have your child assessed at an early age. So the chiropractor's job is to locate and correct spinal interference so your nervous system can perform at its own optimal level. Remember, the immobilized area will degenerate at a faster rate than the area with good balance and movement. Fortunately, with the right care and by mobilizing these areas and creating good alignment, the body can begin to slow, stabilize or reverse the degenerative process. Chiropractors assist the healing process by re-establishing the nerve flow to its optimum level. This allows the proper communication between the brain and the body. Chiropractors don't treat the symptoms. Rather, they remove the nerve interference, which allows the body to do what it does best, heal itself. When you get a cut or a broken bone, who heals it? Your body does. All forms of the healing arts have their place, and let's face it, medicine has an important role to play in crisis and emergency care, and in these situations can be life-saving. On the other hand, chiropractic is vital in keeping your body functioning at its best possible level by removing nerve interference and allowing the body to heal itself. So for health, wellness, and quality of life, chiropractic is the smart choice for you and your family.
All right. Start out by saying technology sucks. I thought I had a bad battery in here, and I don't. So I'm going to have my manual person go through here with this. Before I left the office tonight, we had a guy that came from Texas, flew all the way to Texas to get adjusted. He just moved to Texas, been through 3-4 chiropractors already at one office, could not get his neck adjusted right, ended up in an emergency room, blew $1,000 on a flight in one day to swing back to the office, and before I left, he was in our office getting adjusted because nobody can adjust his neck. They took out the little pop guns, click, click, click. Everyone's scared to do a real adjustment. He had to come all the way from Texas, just moved there. He's like, I was planning to see you on the holidays to get adjusted, and had to come a few months soon here. That is why I get adjusted. I want to show that video because tonight's lecture is all about performance, antioxidants, and feeling good. I got some great stuff I have here. So let's go to the first. Next. Tonight's lecture is based on these two books and a little bit of my input right here, Superfoods Prescription and Superfoods by David Wolf right there. You go to the next one there. And you can YouTube that video. It's called The Big Idea Chiropractic there. It'll pop right up there. Some sample videos if you want to share that around. I may throw that on our Facebook page and send that around so you could share that around. Good. This is a very, very cool story. This guy was supposed to be here tonight. He's out of state. So I told him let's talk about him tonight. I'd love him to have him here, but he couldn't make it. 52-year-old male, present complaint. A lot of pain in the left shoulder joint, going up the left side of the neck, face, ear, and eye. Radiating pain going down his arm, numbness all in his hands. Nerve damage in left arm from previous accident of electric volts from power line through left arm across his entire body and went out his right shoulder. He had 9 exit wounds this big coming out of his right shoulder. He grabbed something, he got electrocuted, it went all the way up his arm, came all around and came out his shoulder. He had 3rd-degree burns on his right shoulder. Ever since he came in the office walking like this. He couldn't turn his head. He couldn't, raising his arm was like this. Because I got a migraine on my left side. He's like, I've been messed up for a year. He's like, the shoulder's all healed from the, the burns of electricity and stuff. He's like, I've been on painkillers, living on painkillers daily. He's like, ever since I've been electrocuted, my blood pressure's been through the roof. So, simple muscle testing. Just took an x-ray. X-rays didn't show too much there. Going right through the spine. Muscle testing. Occiput, atlas, atlas on the left. Cranked his neck in place, pulled him on an extensilizer. He got up, and I kid you not, I could use one finger to push down on the strength of his arm because he had zero strength in his arm. He's like, I could hold my arm up. He's turning his head, he could turn his head. His migraine started going away. The guy had just about started to cry right then and there. He's like, I cannot believe the mess I've been through this entire year, and all they've done is poison me. He's like, you do anything for my heart? I'm like, that's a simple thing right there. I'm like, you've been electrocuted. That electricity absolutely fried your heart. Went through the reflexes right on that chart there. Arms together, out, pressed down, heart reflex. Completely blown. I put them on Cytozyme H, magnesium to relax the heart, and Cardio Plus to put some charge back in that heart there. He was on 3 different blood pressure medications ever since he got electrocuted, and it still wasn't controlling his blood pressure. Those 3 things brought his blood pressure down so low, he's getting all dizzy, and he had to hop off the medications there. Very, very cool story. You can click the next one. I was just saying a follow-up, no pain, more range of motion, less headaches there. Doing excellent. He was supposed to be here tonight, but he's out of state. Click the next one there. Dr. Ten's got a lecture in December here, happiness in the holidays. If you want a little heads up, you could Google the Braverman Assessment. The Braverman Assessment. It's a cool little 8-page true and false test that you could take that tells you what your dominant and least dominant neurotransmitter in your brain is. You got norepinephrine, that's acetylcholine, dopamine, serotonin, and there's a 4th one missing, GABA. GABA is what puts the brake on the body there. You could take that little test and bring that to the lecture or even just kind of see where your brain falls at. We play brains very specifically. Zoloft deficiency doesn't fall well in our books here. Click that next one.
How do you spell that?
Braverman assessment. ASSESSMENT. Did I spell that wrong? Yeah, Braverman is silent R. I spell much better when I'm writing it down there. Are you smarter than a 5th grader? My next lecture right here will be the top 25 herbs and how they could benefit you. So Superfoods is kind of going to lead a little bit into the herbal stuff there. Herbs do not hold nutritional value. Herbs are medicine. A lot of people think that we use a lot of herbal things to fix patients. 80 to 90% of the time, we're using just food-based products to fix patients. We've got a website for you who have not been around lately, diversehealthservices.com. Check it out. If you want to be on top of the game and know what's going on at the office, get our newsletter. This is sent out each and every single week of the first month right there. You can go to diversehealthservices.com, and under the little tab of Contact Us, you can sign up for the newsletter right there. Next one. We are on Facebook there too. I'll post some things in between those newsletters on Facebook. And I just posted a really good one on Dr. Russell Blaylock. He's a neurosurgeon that does a lot of alternative stuff, very well respected. He's talking about the Gardasil shots. I would expect all you mothers out there who have teenage daughters to watch that video. This is nothing more than a folic acid and B12 deficiency with this HPV stuff. And women who smoke are more prone to this because smoking depletes the B12 and folic acid in people. Yet they're trying to hop on this, give them a Gardasil shot. These Mercs all over these politics going to Congress and lobbying for their company and saying, hey, we'll give you some kickbacks, push this stuff through Congress and make this mandatory for giving shots out. In California right now, they're trying to go around parents that give these daughter shots. It's very scary what's going on right now. A lot of you're slowly losing some rights. And I'll get into some of this flu shot stuff very quickly here. Click that next one here. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It should be more Breast Cancer Prevention Month. Click the next one here. It's from Dr. Brownstein right here. Mammograms not as effective as they thought. Authors of a New European study announced in the BMJ, these are great journals here, that screening by way of mammography does not significantly reduce deaths from breast cancer. While breast cancer fatalities have decreased overall, in light of this study, researchers believe that may be more to do with better health care than early detection with screenings here. Let me make this very, very clear. We are not against mammograms, nor are we for them. And let me explain that. We are not for getting radiated every single year and every other year as a preventive measure for breast cancer. But if we highly suspect something's going on, we're going to send you for a mammograph. So what do you do for prevention? Sounds like you're kind of stuck in the middle. Click that next one here. This will be going out in the next newsletter too. Thermoscan.com. This right here measures the heat off the breast here. Instead of mammograms, perhaps considering thermography, a thermoscan measures the heat off the breast. Hot areas can be associated with increased blood vessels and cancer. Cancer has a high metabolism, will increase blood flow to certain areas, and they give grading levels, TH1 to TH4 and a little bit higher. And I can tell you right now, after that last cancer lecture, we've had 2 patients on our hands that we sent for mammographs after having highly suspicious thermoscans that came back, and they're doing some treatment. Actually, a very interesting case. One of the ladies just had a mastectomy last week, and she was on all of our products, and her oncologist was scratching her head saying, the first time I took the scan, and now when I took out your breast, that tumor shrunk. Doesn't make sense. But nonetheless, she had the mastectomy. Got another lady who's going through some alternative things. One was at U of M Hospital. The one was at Carmano's. Very interesting how they attack this stuff. These doctors don't want to know what we do because they have to document all this stuff. And when they document all this stuff, they send other people towards us. So don't tell them what we're doing. We'd rather not have that mess on our hands. Click that next one here. If you have any cancer issues, high blood pressure issues during the winter, vitamin D, this is what I just started at the beginning of September. This is your natural flu shot right here. No one gets sick with the flu during the summer. We're all out in the sun, soaking up the sun, and our D levels are going up there. There's a ton of literature and research supporting the anti-cancer stuff in vitamin D level. Low vitamin D level and high cancer rates. A ton of the stuff's pouring out, and these doctors are waking up to this stuff and checking more D levels on people's blood work here. Just click the next one here. I got the chart of what you could take here. The adult dose is about 5,000 to 6,000 units IUs of vitamin D. Kids 5 to 10 is about 2,500, about half there. I'll let you write that down there. Click that next one there. This is just a little research. The Cochrane study on flu vaccines. I'm not going to read into the entire thing, but they said these shots pretty much save somewhere close to 0 people a year. These shots are absolutely worthless. And before I walked in here, my mom's a nurse at the oncologist unit at a hospital, and she's like, they're starting to get on our cases and forcing us to get these shots. There's a lot of things going on. We got a lot of stirred up health workers right now calling our office wondering what they could do because they're being forced to take these vaccines. There's ways around this. Come in the office, we'll talk about that. Click the next one. You cold people out there, this is the anemic people, and I could walk around this entire room and look at your fingernails and tell you who needs this protocol. Food's your iron source. Chlorophyll is a blood builder. B12 boosts your red blood cell counts. If you want to warm up warmer than you ever been any other winter, this is what you do to build up your blood count. The people, when you look at your fingernails and they're white like someone's pressing on it, these are the people that need this. Cold hands and white fingernails. That's what I'm going to look for. Your fingernails should be nice pink and red. When it looks like someone's pressing on your fingernails, this is the protocol we're going to use on you here. Check. Brain Power. This is a very cool product. We haven't talked too much about it yet. We will in the future. Nucleozyme through Biotics Research. Ages 40 and over. This is an RNA product. This is better than ginkgo. We're using this with autistic children, but this is more for the older adults. Dr. Frank from New York here is way ahead of his time with RNA therapy. He was using this with his patients. Is an anti-aging product, more cognitive function. Everyone wants more cognitive function. If I could put someone over 50 on one product, 40, 50, this would be it. 2 to 3 a day with that. Memory is a lot, and a lot of issues with Alzheimer's and dementia today are increasingly more prevalent. You know, a lot more people on statins, Lipitor, Crestor, and all those fun things. Your brain's half fat, half cholesterol. That's just sucking more fat and IQ from your brain there. Click the next one there. Case study. This is great. I had to talk about this. 57-year-old male patient, depressed, anxiety's worse, heart pounding, wakes him up in the middle of the night, does a protein shake, eats right, supposedly doing everything right, suicidal thoughts, crying spells. This guy was 57 years old. He was absolutely ripped. He stopped doing injections of testosterone and hormones 21 days prior to coming in the office. He was doing testosterone injections, HCG injections. He was on an estrogen-blocking medication so he wouldn't grow boobs. And he's doing some steroids. I go, how'd you get yourself into this mess here? Well, everyone wants to be young. Everyone wants to feel good. You see more of these hormone replacement therapy things on TV today. He went to the gym. He saw this little poster, Genesis Health Institute. Oh, this doctor will give you injections, check your blood work once a month, and, you know, put all this stuff in you. And everyone else at the gym's doing this stuff. I'm like, everyone at the gym's doing this stuff. Who else is doing stuff? He's like, all the cops are on steroids at my gym. I was like, oh, interesting. I thought this guy was going to kill himself. I've seen some very bad cases in our office, but I've never seen someone this bad. He got in some trouble being so jacked up on testosterone, stopped everything cold turkey, had to use some potassium and the organically bound minerals to get his heart under control, Simplex N that controls hormone stuff, Lyzyme Forte, vegetable culture lithium to slow down his brain, Cataplex B with the protein shakes and min checks to recharge the brain. EMP is something very special that we're using. I'm not going to get into that right here. But this guy had a complete 180. I couldn't believe the home run this dude had. He said, "You saved my life." This guy was going to just completely whack himself. He was completely over the edge. Huge, ripped dude. It's unbelievable the mess he got himself. You know, why did you do this? You want to feel younger. Want to feel younger. Well, you're going to get into some cool stuff here tonight. Yep, click the next one. Feeling great. Anxiety's gone. Never had to do medications. That was 2 weeks. Yes. Click that next one. These two women here are identical twins. One lives in Ohio. One lives in Florida. She's a smoker, and she hits the sun too much. Scientists have said, well, they're the same age, but in our scientific data, they look like they're about 11 years apart. This is what you call oxidation in the human body. Click the next one. This is oxidation on a car. Oxidation on a car causes rust. Next. So what causes this oxidation? Ultraviolet rays, pollution, stress, poor nutrition, oxidizes the cell, causes free radicals. These free radicals is what causes the damage internally to our bodies. This is what causes internal rusting. Click the next one. So you got an antioxidant right there. You got a free radical. So how that neutralizes that is it donates a simple electron to fill in there and neutralizes that free radical so it doesn't do any damage to the body. I know everyone's not a scientist here, so I dumbed it down a little bit here. This is antioxidant kicks out free radicals. I throw that in there as a joke because the last lecture we had the guest speaker get very technical. So click the next one right there. Now, since I'm going to be talking about some fruits and vegetables here, some that fall in this Dirty Dozen list, I would absolutely Google this list and find out the Dirty Dozen. The Dirty Dozen are the fruits and vegetables that carry the most pesticides in them. This is stuff you cannot clean and wash out. This is grown Roundup ready stuff in these fruits and vegetables. Every single year when it starts getting warmer and some of these things are a little bit more in season, we always get patients in here complaining about left-sided pain, throwing up, and nauseated, and they've got no idea why. It's pancreatitis. Those chemicals have irritated the pancreas. It's making them throw up. So that's a very key list here. And pesticides also, too, will attack guys' prostates and women's breasts. These are xenoestrogens. It's very important to keep your detox pathways open. Click the next one there. Superfood. What is a superfood? Superfood is a term sometimes used to describe food with high phytonutrient content that may confer health benefits as a result. For example, blueberries are considered a superfood because they contain significant amounts of antioxidants, vitamin C, manganese, and dietary fiber. So if you know what a superfood is, it's important to know what is not a superfood. Click the next one. Acai berry, mangosteen, hemp seed. These are just a few. I could have thrown some other ones up here. When I was in chiropractic college, everyone's getting in this, oh, let's sell some acai berry juice and all this stuff. And, you know, yes, it's got some beneficial properties to it, but overall it's not a superfood. And I can tell you there was other posters of sell this juice, sell this juice. And a lot of these people who were selling it seemed to be more in it for the buck than it was for the health benefits of others, because the more people you got under you selling this acai juice, you were making more money. And it's interesting because I pick up some of these other juices and would say things like, well, in this remote region of the world where everyone eats this one berry, there's no cancer. It'd be their whole selling point to that berry. Whether it was acai berry, and there was multiple juices. Some of these other chiropractors students got on these little fad things. It was kind of interesting, so I just kind of want to throw that out there. Click that next one there. The food chart, you got regular foods, superfoods, and you got herbs. Next. I'm breaking this down to my top 25 superfoods tonight. My first one right here is eggs. Eggs have become the bad boys in our obsession with keeping our cholesterol down, but it appears they are good for your heart after all and can reduce blood pressure. Boiled and fried, they produce peptides that are natural ACE inhibitors, which are natural blood pressure type medications. They're being particularly effective for preventing cardiovascular disease and hypertension. And there's the journal source right there. I could tell who started their morning on eggs and who started their morning on waffles. I could tell you that driving on the road real quickly, very fast. A guy cut me off, giving me the middle finger. The one who's swerving in and out of lanes, 35 into 45. I absolutely tell that real quick. Click that next one there. Whey protein. Whey protein. You're going to have to hit don't send there and hop back into it. Hit don't send. You're going to have to. Yep. Technology. Gotta love it. We're getting some new laptops here soon. Hopefully when we get the MacBooks here, we could do some Skyping with out-of-state patients that I was talking about before at a previous lecture. Whey protein. There's a lot of misconception about protein. A lot of people are scared of protein because they think, well, I'm going to gain weight. You're not going to gain weight using protein. If you're underweight, you'll gain weight. If you're overweight, you'll lose weight. Whey protein is excellent. Supports your immune system, helps boost immunoglobulins in your body, boosts your energy, supports your joints and muscles, supports the beneficial bacteria in your gut there, promotes muscle strength, endurance, and recovery, protects all tissues, cells, antioxidants. I do 2 to 3 a day. When I'm training for things, I may even push 4. What spinach is the Popeye, protein shakes are to our brains. Can I click the next one? This right here is what I start my morning off right here. This is Zorex, 10% egg whites, 90% whey protein. Get the best of both right off the bat right there. Comes in chocolate, comes in vanilla, 25 grams of protein, 2 grams of sugar. You can't beat this stuff here. No artificial sweeteners. I could go to GNC, Vitamin World. I could pick the stuff off the shelves, all their stuff off the shelves and look at it. It's got aspartame in it. It's got Splenda in it. It's got all this junk in it. And it tastes so artificial to you. If it takes a scientist to read the label, you probably don't want it in you. And before you guys leave, grab my next lecture sheet because I got a little slide on that talks about my superfood shake that I do first thing in the morning. Coconut, this is awesome right here. Lauric acid is a huge beneficial property to that there. When we talk about the water component and the lauric acid component here. Click that next one there. Coconut water and hydration. This is the journal right here that says in remote regions of the world where there wasn't a lot of medical facilities, they would use coconut water as a hydration drip, IV drip, to help hydrate people until they could, get them in a hospital. And it works great. We had a very, very sick patient 2 weeks ago. This was a young girl. She coughing, hacking. We had her on 1 million products. We were about ready to refer her out. And we put her on coconut water and Celtic salt for hydration. And it was amazing, the night and day difference that she had in one day just turning the corner. Simple hydration. She was completely dehydrated. And the beneficial properties of coconut water and the electrolytes in there are an awesome source of hydration. Coconut milk, you want the coconut water. You can find it at Trader Joe's. You can find it at Kroger's in the health section. Health food stores, Better Health, things of that nature. I'll talk about the milk. I use more of the milk with my protein shakes. Coconut water I'm going to use more as a hydrating factor right here. You can click the next one. Lauric acid. Coconut oil contains 50% lauric acid. Lauric acid converts over to monolaurin. Monolaurin has antiviral, antimicrobial, all these antifungal, and anti-parasite properties to it. This stuff is awesome. I'm canning the milk. If I'm going to do a milk, it'd be raw milk more than anything. But I'm strep in nature. Earaches and sore throats growing up my entire life. That milk just plugged me up. I'm going to do coconut milk, rice milk, almond milk. If I do a soy milk, it's going to be a non-GMO soy milk. And right now I'm starting to throw most of those soys under the bus because Monsanto has too many of his hands on these farmers with these mixed seeds. You get those mixed seeds in there, creates those xenoestrogens, so that Roundup Ready soy. You don't want that stuff in your body. It's going to do more harm than good. You can click the next one there. Avocados. This is my number 4 right here. One of the nutrient-dense foods here. Avocados are high in fiber, folate, potassium, vitamin E, magnesium, monosaturated fat, oleic acid here. This is probably the healthiest fats that you could get in your foods. When we preach high-fat, high-protein diet for your brain, we talk about good fats, good fats, getting all your essential fatty acids. We're not talking about KFC fats. We're talking about essential fatty acids and good fats like avocado fats here. You click the next one here. Number 5, blueberries. Blueberries could offset the worst symptoms of stomach problems such as pain, bloating, and even certain colitis symptoms. They have certain polyphenols and antimicrobial properties with the antioxidant properties to it. This right here is one of those things that falls in the dirty dozen list. I had a little girl, she was only 7 years old. She pounded blueberries all week and throwing up Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Mom brought her in. She's like, this is weird. She doesn't have a fever. Is this a flu? I was like, no. This is a little pancreatitis in a little kid from too many blueberries and the pesticides in there. Very interesting stuff. You do want to invest in yourself and your health. You can get the pesticide-free stuff there as far as that goes.
Is organic considered pesticide?
Yes. Absolutely. The research that really puts blueberries on the top of the map brought exciting news that the fruit seemed to slow and eventually reverse many degenerative diseases that are associated with aging of the brain, including dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Well, dementia and Alzheimer's disease is like rusting of the brain. Blueberries have antioxidant properties to it. That's clearing out free radicals in the brain and reversing some of those issues with Alzheimer's and dementia. Interesting stuff. Click the next one there. And if you're not going to eat blueberries, you want to get some of these beneficial properties to these berries. Standard Process has a product called Cellular Vitality. We use this mainly as a CoQ10 product. CoQ10 feeds a lot of that heart because a lot of that mitochondria is in that heart. But you've got grape seed in there, you got blueberry, cranberry seed, I'm going to be talking about that, red raspberry seed, blackberry seed, and pomegranate seed are in there. It's got your RNA in there too. Bromelain is an awesome compound that I'll be talking about in a certain fruit later on. 3 to 4 a day of that works really great. You get a nice lift of energy there. We use that a lot with our heart patients there too. You break that label down, you got American ginseng. I'll be talking that more in the herb stuff, your B vitamins, your berry extracts, bromelain, your CoQ10, RNA, some mushroom powder there. All great stuff in that product. And it increases the cellular oxygen in your body there. Extra virgin olive oil here. Dressing your salad with olive oil can help ward off Alzheimer's disease and may even reduce the symptoms if you already have it. The best is extra virgin olive oil, which is especially rich in oleocanthols, a natural occurring polyphenol in that oil right there. This is great stuff. Now, the Mediterranean diet preaches very heavily in extra virgin olive oil. It's great stuff. It's another good fat and good oil. And they promote it pretty heavily with cardiovascular issues, Alzheimer's, brain health, and all that kind of stuff because of the properties to it. Now, cooking not any oil, but a lot of oils, as you heat them, these oils go rancid. So there's a lot of controversy with the Mediterranean diet and cooking with oils and things, those oils going rancid and causing more harm than good because the rancid oils will cause inflammation in the arteries. Click the next one there. Tomatoes. It's my number 7 right here. Tomatoes offer a range of health benefits and can cut the risk of cancer and heart disease. Men who regularly eat tomatoes can cut their risk of cancer and prostate cancer by 35%. The key ingredient is lycopene. That's the antioxidant in there. And that's what makes that fruit red there. That right there, you could get in if in your key on prostate stuff, Standard Process, I didn't put that up there, but the prostate support through Standard Process has that lycopene in there. A lot of research and peer-reviewed literature supporting that lycopene in prostate health. But what attacks the prostate? These estrogens. We're living in a sea of estrogen. You want your detox pathways open. Your greens, which I'll be talking about very shortly, keeps that pathway open. Click that next one here. Grapefruit seed extract. We love this stuff at this office, and it works great. You could bury an apple in the ground, and you could bury a grapefruit in the ground. A day later, that apple would be diminished. You come back a month later, and that grapefruit would probably look the same because of the rich properties of this fruit. This is probably one of my favorite products right here. Grapefruit seed extract. This liquid is loaded with polyphenolic compounds, include quercetin, helpertin, and then all this fun stuff I'm not even going to pronounce because I don't even know if that's English. But these polyphenols themselves are unstable but chemically converted into more stable substances that belong to a diverse class of products called quaternary ammonia compounds. How much do we love this stuff in our office? Click that next one. This is how much we love this stuff in this office. Dental gel. You got a toothpaste. You got a pH hand washer here. Nasal spray for those sinuses. You got a concentrated liquid right here. You got the pill form of the concentrate. This is all pharmaceutical grade. You got skin and wound care spray. And you got ear drops. This is how much we love this stuff because we get great results with this. If I was going to go to a desert island and I was going to bring one product in our office, I'm going to bring that citracetyl concentrated liquid because I could use that topically and I could use that internally. This stuff works awesome. I just had a patient email me last week. She said, my gums have been receding for the last 10 years, and every time I'm at the dentist, they're all over my butt about this. We're working on some thyroid stuff with her, but she's like, I switched over to using this dental gel that is also fluoride-free. She's like, my gums were perfect. So perfect that she pulled the other dentist in the office to look at them because she was completely impressed with it, and they were so impressed, they were wanting to know what we had her on. Very cool stuff here. We got nurses all the time in hospitals, and hospital workers, they have to wash their hands so often in between patients that their hands get red, cracked, and irritated. You've over-alkalized your hands and irritated your hands. You got to use the pH balanced soap right there. All these sinus issues right now going on, we're using a lot of that citracetyl nasal spray right there. Those stubborn earaches, we're going to use a lot of those ear drops there. Come to the office, get tested. We'll muscle test you for your specific dose. We get great results using this stuff. That's why we love it. Grapefruit seed extract. Broccoli, the king of vegetables, and also offers a wide range of health benefits. Broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables are full of chemical compounds called sulforaphanes. These products right here, all your cruciferous green vegetables, is what helps open up your liver pathway. Everyone wants to do some fad diet, some daily detox, foot baths, this and that. We're like, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Do daily products of cruciferous products to help clear that pathway. You know who has the most blocked pathways? People on antihistamines and antacids. That blocks up that liver pathway so much, you can have one drink of alcohol, and that's like times 8 drinks. You block that liver pathway up. I got a guy last week, a few weeks ago, his hair analysis just came in this week. He's got a tremor. He's like, I don't know what's going on here, but he's like, I don't want it to progress any further. It's like you've been poisoned or you got heavy metals. One of the two. You choose. The third thing would be a genetic tremor. In some people, they get a genetic tremor, but heavy metals or chemical toxicity. You block your liver with those two things, and you get chemically poisoned, you're going to shake. Heavy metals, mercury definitely will make you shake. I do this each day, and if you got that sheet, this nitro greens is part of my drink right there. You got SP Green Food, Cruciferous Complete, and nitro greens. This is a powder. You throw it, stir it. I can't do it in water. It just tastes. I'm not much for green stuff anyways. I'm going to be eating it in pills versus eating it on a plate. So this is the kind of stuff I'm going to do. And I can't do the nitro greens in a scoop of water by itself. I got V8 or a chocolate protein shake. Covers it up very well. The health benefits from it are astonishing. You want to know what most of our cancer patients are on? They're on these kind of things. The lady who shrunk that tumor in her breast and had her oncologist scratching her head was doing things like this. This is what clears those liver pathways. This is your daily detox. These chemicals, this biphenyl A, the perfumes, all this stuff is getting in our system, and you want to clear this stuff out of your body. Don't worry about doing some crazy fad diet one week out of the year. Do simple things to clear the stuff out of your system here. Cranberry. The infection-fighting qualities of cranberry juice are well known, and scientists now believe it may also be useful against serious staph infections like the superbug MRSA. If I had someone, a loved one in the hospital, the first thing I'd probably put them on is some type of cranberry product, because these urinary tract infections are very high in hospitals with catheterizations and all of that. You could click the next one there. When women were given either cranberry juice or a placebo to drink, and they had their urine mixed with strains of E. coli and staph stuff here, that can cause a range of infections from skin rashes to MRSA. The cranberry juice stopped both strains from growing and was especially effective against staph. This stuff is awesome. And then we got a lot of women who have recurrent urinary tract infections in the office, because taking those antibiotics kills that good flora in your bacteria, leaves you more prone to just catching that second one. Other women have a little bit of a pH issue. They're too alkaline with their urine, and it creates a nice optimal living environment for these infections. If you struggle with these kind of things, you better learn to get it under control, because these are the things that lead into, the chronic urinary bladder infections that just won't go away. You get it bad enough, this kind of stuff climbs up to kidneys and wreaks havoc. This is MediHerb Cranberry Complex right here. I'm not going to get too much into that there. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the herbal lecture, but if you're not going to drink cranberry juice, use the pill form concentrate. Balances your pH, has antimicrobial properties to it. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. You can click the next one. Resveratrol. Was someone drinking wine up here earlier? Yeah, I called you out, did I? Perfect, perfect. Red wine right here, resveratrol. We don't talk enough about this product at our office here. Resveratrol is a polyphenolic compound with antioxidant properties that are produced in plants such as grapes and blueberries. This is what they are highly promoting is anti-aging, heart health, anti-cancer properties, weight loss. This is a very, very, very powerful antioxidant right here. And this, if you Google the French paradox, the French eat a ton more fat in their diet than any American, yet they have less heart attacks and strokes, and they contribute to the red wine drinking that they do there. So drink your wine, right? You continue right there. Just how good is resveratrol in preventing cancer and heart disease? It's so good that drug companies are trying to mimic its molecule in order to claim that they're recreating a new drug here. They do this all the time. Things that work, they try to recreate it and put their addictive stuff in here. But this is Mother Nature's miracle drug, but it's not a drug here. It's a molecule that's synthesized for plants for protecting themselves, and it turns out that the same molecule can protect you from cancer, heart disease, and a whole lot more. These things, the grapes and the products that you find resveratrol in, they are produced in a plant to protect themselves in nature. It's a very, very cool antioxidant. We have a few things in our office that have it, but not in a super potent strength. If you're interested in that, Life Extensions has some very good products that are high in that. Grape seed extract, not grapefruit extract, but grape seed extract has some resveratrol in that there. Coffee. Can't leave out coffee, right? A cup of coffee in the morning helps reduce chronic inflammation and oxidative stress there while increasing good levels of HDL cholesterol. That's your good cholesterol right there. It may also be protective of type 2 diabetes right here. You could click the next one. What's the properties in that? Coffee is also well known as a cognitive enhancer, sharpening attention and also helping us become more alert and raising dopamine. Raising dopamine. This is the feel-good feeling that you get when you drink coffee. People that like that dopamine rush, L-tyrosine helps increase that there too. But I'm getting a little bit more on that chocolate. Caffeine, coffee helps raise that dopamine. Said to help with memory, decrease risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's in men who drink a cup a day. Coffee chemicals act as an anti-inflammatory, surprisingly. Lowers incident rates of liver cancer. But also, if you drink too much And a lot of these things are just from drinking a cup or two a day. If you drink too much, you're going to run into problems. So we're going to see a lot of people run into low calcium. Too much coffee acts as a diuretic, and you will pee away your good minerals and your calcium there. Clicking of the joints, the eye twitches, things of that nature. Those are small little calcium deficiencies, and you're losing too much calcium there. It's very interesting. I don't know if you guys caught this on the news. This mom caught a lot of attention because she didn't want to put her child on Ritalin and Adderall, and she was giving her child a cup of coffee in the morning and a cup of coffee in the evening, and it completely leveled them out. She's like, what's wrong with doing coffee versus Ritalin? I don't like the side effects of this Adderall and Ritalin, and he's perfectly fine doing coffee. It's kind of interesting, kind of an interesting take. You know, it all depends there. You know, for someone who's low on minerals, you know, I wouldn't go much more than a cup or two a day there.
Does it make a difference what kind of coffee? Caffeinated isn't good, but what about instant or the regular coffee?
The regular coffee. You know, we don't get too much in talking about the decaf and that. Well, everyone says fully loaded, right?
What about instant?
I'm not too sure on that. You know, just the whole coffee bean, you know, the good stuff there. Whatever. What's that?
Does that last all day like the pills do?
It's, you know, that's a good question. I just caught that on the news there. You know, the kid was very hyper, and the caffeine had the opposite effect on him. Caffeine calmed him down, whereas if caffeine might take the slow person and kind of make him too hyper there. And a lot of those drugs, Adderall, they're nothing but stimulants. That's why these kids come in office, they're skinny to the bone like they've been starving to death. Women love this stuff. College and high school girls love this stuff because it keeps them skinny and they can think. And in college right now, this is becoming a huge mess because they're using this as an edge over other students. This is becoming a very huge mess. And I can tell you firsthand, when I went to school, I knew kids who were crushing Ritalin and snorting and stuff. So, because a lot of these drugs have the same effect as cocaine on the brain. Interesting stuff. Key ingredients, antioxidants and caffeine right there. Dark chocolate. Chocolate is about 30% fat, 5% protein, 61% carbohydrate, and 3% moisture and minerals. Magic in the mix, as far as the health benefits are concerned, is the polyphenols, especially the flavonoids. This has been absolutely huge in the news, too, because of heart health. It's the dark, bitter chocolate that has all the health benefits. You could click the next one there. Research is now suggesting that the flavonols in chocolate are responsible for the ability to maintain healthy blood pressure, promote blood flow, and promote heart health here. You could click the next one here. This increases dopamine in your brain also. Scientists from the University of Michigan found that chocolate causes the brain to release opiates. Opiates are chemicals that are produced of the euphoric feeling and are very pleasurable. Drugs like morphine and heroin are opiates, but quite remarkably, our brain makes natural opiates to control pain. Apparently, one of the effects of chocolate of the brain, or effects of chocolate on the brain, is to release natural endorphins, so that when you're eating chocolate, it dulls pain and gives you a euphoric feeling. Makes you wonder why women eat a lot of chocolate around their periods, doesn't it? Actually, we see a lot of women who get that craving. It's a small magnesium deficiency. Kind of interesting there, too. Click the next one here. Number 14, pomegranate right here. Beneficial properties to this product here is vitamin B6, the polyphenols, and potassium. Potassium relaxes the heart there. People who go all their ways for bananas, avocados, tend to be deficient in potassium, and we'll see that on people's pulses. Their pulses and their heart will pound. You click the next one there. Pomegranate juice may have 2 or 3 times the antioxidant properties equal amounts of green tea or red wine. One study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that it's a potent fighter against atherosclerosis. It's a buildup of plaque in the arteries. Inflammation in the arteries causing plaquing antioxidants reverses that plaquing. Kind of interesting there. Antioxidants make you feel younger. Oxidation in the body, it's like rusting. You want it to be filled of antioxidants. I feel great in the morning. I'm going to tell you my little trick of what I do every morning, especially during winter and the cold times here. You can click the next one here. Apples. This is apple season right now. Apples are a powerful source of antioxidants, including polyphenols, flavonoids, and vitamin C, as well as a good source of fiber and potassium. Low glycemic, so it doesn't spike your sugar there. It's great for diabetic patients there too, and low in calories. Skin color on the apples have all different antioxidant properties to them there. You can click the next one here. There are many different types of apples. A lot of these different skin colors come with different chemical makeups of the skin itself. Like for example, right here, all these different ones. In the United States, the Fiji apple here has the highest total phenolic compounds and total flavonoid content of any apple. It's important to get a well-balanced bunch of apples there. I'm going to talk about something interesting that was just in the news the other day. You can click the next one here. Apple juice and arsenic. Apple juice and arsenic. Dr. Oz raised the stink on the news over this whole thing because he just tried to raise a simple question. Well, the EPA only allows a certain amount of arsenic in drinking water, but it's higher in apple juice. Is that safe for us? He kind of put a little scare in there, and this doctor here was all over him, but he ran his stuff in his lab here. I'll talk a little bit more about this here. The EPA has a limit on arsenic in drinking water. The levels are 10 parts per billion there currently. There's no limit on arsenic in apple juice. The Dr. Oz show tested a whole bunch of the stuff off the shelves and just saw that they were higher. You can click the next one here. Inorganic versus organic arsenic. This is what's important. Your body can break down organic arsenic. It's the inorganic stuff, the pesticides, the poisonous arsenic, the fertilizer stuff that your body cannot break down. And I tell you what, we will find this on a patient's hair analysis, and we see this on kids too, but where is this going to come from? Well water and smokers. Those are the two highest arsenic compounds that we see on our patients getting high arsenic in them. Even if you have arsenic or well water at your house and you're not drinking it, showering in it, you will breathe the arsenic in you. Typically, we're more concerned about the aluminum, lead, and mercury than we are the arsenic. Arsenic at higher doses, or some doses, moderate doses, don't have as much physiological dysfunction in the body as those other three heavy metals. Not saying that we won't chelate that kind of stuff out of you, but drinking apple juice, it's not that it's, gonna kill you. There's a lot of other heavy metals that, are gonna hit you first before arsenic. And I can tell you by doing these hair analysis with patients, 2 out of 10 come with a clean one. Everyone else is slowly getting hit by something. If your body's low in minerals, your body will suck up with the environment's metals. Metals replace minerals in the body.
I had a Mexican friend, he was a much older gentleman, and he told me there was arsenic in the seeds of apples, and he would purposely eat a few seeds of the apple. Have you heard that?
I have heard something briefly on that there. It's interesting because they use arsenic. If a dog has heartworms, they tend to give them a high dose of arsenic to kill the heartworms. Back in the early centuries, they used to use arsenic, and you'll see that in homeopathic remedies where they used to give high doses of arsenic that killed patients, and they found that they were getting better results using low diluted forms of arsenic to get better results than what they were with the high doses. So, but I have heard of that there. This is kind of cool stuff right here. Honey, bee pollen, royal jelly, the propolis here. Honey is much more than just a liquid sweetener. One of the oldest medicines known to man. Honey has been used to treat respiratory diseases, skin ulcers, wounds, urinary diseases, gastrointestinal diseases, eczema, psoriasis, dandruff. Today we know the validity of these timeless treatments with honey. This stuff is awesome. It has all this antibacterial, yeast, fungal properties. When we have leg wounds in patients there, we're going to have them put honey right on it, raw honey, and you should see how fast they heal up compared to doing nothing there. Absolute cool stuff. All right, he needs to change something over here. Good. Bee propolis. Bees make propolis. This is like the glue material in those hives right here. By mixing beeswax and other secretions with resins from the buds to confer with popular trees here. This stuff is the germicidal property that, you know, when you're spreading these on wounds, that help that out there. You just click that over. Natural antibiotic, natural anti-inflammatory, works with allergies, cancer, sore throats, colds, coughs, flus, fatigue, respiratory sinus, acne, skin cuts, burns, rashes, infections, dental care, cavities, things of that nature. You'll sometimes hear, if you have reactions with like regular pollen allergies, to go buy some local honey and, you know, use that in your tea and things, because it kind of helps desensitize your body to the pollen in the local area there. You can click the next one here. Bee pollen contains polyphenols, enzymes, beneficial fatty acids, free amino acids here, vitamin complexes, chelated minerals, and trace elements. This is what gives you that boost of energy and that feel-good source in that. You click the next one here. Royal jelly. This stuff's great. I used to use a lot of this stuff right here. It's produced in the beehive for the nourishment of the queen bee. Is a complex substance that cannot be recreated synthetically by man. This stuff right here has a high content of amino acids here. If you're into working out and stuff and you don't want to work out and with a lot of food in your stomach, you want that little boost there, using that, I'd use a bunch of that right before working out. You get your amino acids, get your spike of sugar there, feed your muscles with the sugar and the glycogen there. Stuff is awesome. Nice boost of energy. If you want to get all three of these things, you click the next one here. Continuing on that there, the royal jelly contains 12% protein, 5 to 6% lipids, that's the fats here, 12 to 15% carbohydrates, and the B vitamins there. That's all the nourishment right here they're getting in the royal jelly. Great stuff here. Click the next one. We still sell this in the office here for patients who like this here. You got the propolis, you got the pollen, and you got the royal jelly, all in a dynamic trio right there. We talked about that in some previous energy lecture there. The royal jelly, you could buy separately there too. Squeeze that. That one doesn't mix as well in teas and things of that nature. I'll just do like a teaspoon or a few teaspoons of that and just take that in right away, and I'll just go right at my workout there, and it's a nice boost of energy. What's that?
Where can you buy it?
Oh, you could get the royal jelly at the office. It comes in that squeeze bottle that I showed there. And then these three things are right in that box right there. Click that right there. Chlorella and spirulina. This stuff is awesome. This is a huge, huge, huge superfood right here. Chlorella contains an incredible multifaceted superfood. It contains over 60% protein and boasts abundance of nutrients such as chlorophyll and enzymes, but its most important attribute is the ability to help rid the body of toxins such as heavy metals and even radioactive particles. This is a green algae that has the highest concentrate of chlorophyll. This stuff is great. We use a lot of this with people with certain heavy metals that we're going to push mercury out of them. Chlorella is one of those green things that we put in those drinks there. Click the next one. The benefits: detoxification, healthy digestion, healthy immune system, balances your pH levels, and helps out with blood sugar and blood pressure issues here. Now, since chlorella and spirulina kind of fall in the same category, I kind of lumped them together here on this one. You click the next one. If you want to use chlorella, we got chlorella caps right there. And that's what we're going to use a lot with heavy metal detoxification in certain people, but works great with any of that detox stuff there. And it's a great source of chlorophyll. We could just spend a whole lecture and just talking on chlorophyll and the blood building components to chlorophyll and the blood cleansing properties to chlorophyll as it is there. Click the next one here. Spirulina. What it is, it's a blue-green microalgae. It contains vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, carotenoids, amino acids, and protein. Doesn't that look delicious? Spirulina is actually 50 to 70% protein. Now you compare that to beef. Beef is only 22% protein. It's kind of interesting. It's a good source of protein there. But just like chlorella, you could click the next one there. It's an immune booster, helps with detoxification, healthy cholesterol, digestion, anti-aging, and energy. All cleansing properties to that there. You click that next one. Have you guys ever had this kombucha here? The multi-green one here, I actually had this yesterday. I was in better health for the heck of it. This contains both spirulina and chlorella. Kind of interesting. It's an expensive drink, $3-4 drink there, but works really great in, detoxification and all that, green stuff. It actually, I'm not much for green stuff, like I said. If I'm going to get it in pill form or something, I'm going to not eat that off the plate as much.
A few years back, I was making kombucha tea.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, there's a little bit of an issue doing it. It grosses out a lot of people. But one thing I did find is what they call the liver spot on the back of the hands.
Mm-hmm.
Within about 6 to 8 months, the pain goes all away.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there is an issue trying to make it do whatever it is.
It's amazing when you open up that liver pathway, your liver will push things through your skin. Skin issues, we struggle with some skin issues at the office because that's more of a chronic issue of something that's inside that's been there forever. And fixing things internally to fix those skin problems sometimes takes some time. You could click that next one there. Number 18, garlic. Garlic is awesome. This is one of our all-star products here. We'll be talking a little bit more about this with the herbal lecture here too. Helps reverse some atherosclerosis, works with stroke issues, cancer, immune booster, aging, arthritis. It's got a sulfuric compound to it that helps boost and push some of the stuff out. We used a lot of this with a lot of these coughs last year. A lot of these coughs that just would not go away with patients. You could click the next one there. We've got some I'll talk about that in another one. It's allicin, an amino acid. This is the beneficial property to that here. Antibacterial, antifungal, maintains good cholesterol levels, anti-inflammatory and property. Awesome stuff. I want to talk about the next two. Click that next one here. This right here, standard process garlic. That's the regular garlic. We use a lot more of this here. This is the Medi-Herb garlic. One pill is 5 grams of garlic, and it's enterically coated, so it gets past the stomach, and then it breaks down. And then that compound, the allicin, does its work there. Absolutely amazing stuff. This is what we use. I've cleared out MRSA infections, worked on C. diff and hospital-induced infections with products like this. Very interesting. This is how you combat the big boy infections, and you play it properly and not use the same antibiotic year after year to mutate the infection until it becomes a superbug and you have more problems there. Click the next one here. Kelp. Number 19, kelp. The ocean contains all known minerals. Sea vegetation soaks up these minerals into their structure in large quantities. Kelp, in particular, has been shown to be extremely high in the mineral content of iodine. Iodine is very, very important for our bodies, especially in this state because we live in a Goiter state where iodine is prevalent in the soil and the water like it at all. And the iodine feeds your breast, your ovaries, your thyroid, powers your metabolism, powers your brain. All the women doing too much caffeine will notice lumpy, bumpy breasts. That's where the iodine should be, where caffeine's at. We shrink a lot of cyst and tumor things with simple iodine. Check that next one out there. Organically bound minerals has the, we use this more for our potassium pill there, but that's got kelp in there. It's got natural iodine source if you want it from the kelp source. Iodoral is more of our iodine product that we will use once a day And I tell you what, you think that they've got this stuff in Japan under control. They don't. This stuff's still leaking. It's still a mess. We got patients coming back and forth. It's a mess over there. It's an absolute mess. And radioactive iodine will not bind in your body if your body's saturated with good iodine. You could spend a whole entire lecture just talking about simple iodine. The amount of thyroids we fix just using simple iodine is just amazing. Click that next one. It's number 20, cinnamon. Perhaps the most exciting recent discovery concerning cinnamon is the effect of blood glucose levels as well as the triglyceride levels and cholesterol levels and people suffering from type 2 diabetes. Cinnamon helps with this insulin-resistant issue. We're all getting pushed in this insulin-resistant issue due to the high fructose corn syrup and all these foods that aren't real today. No one's eating real food. And this is part of that shake that's on that handout there at the very bottom for people who want to throw something extra in that superfood shake. A little scoop of cinnamon helps out with this glucose resistance issue. And on blood work, insulin resistance and glucose issues is when that blood sugar glucose is climbing about 95 and higher there. Click the yes.
Are there different types of cinnamon? I heard the stuff that you just buy like in the grocery store is not as good as.
We're going to recommend more the grounded kind, so you could kind of just throw that right in your protein shake and just drink that. You could get the sticks. I know a lot of people use the sticks and just put that right in the tea. Either one should be pretty good there. Yeah, we normally don't recommend a specific one. We don't sell cinnamon at the office or anything like that. It goes to say, one study with 60 patients with type 2 diabetes, it was found that after 40 days of taking about 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon daily, fasting serum glucose levels were lowered about 18 to 29%. Triglycerides, 23 to 30%. We're going to use some other things to get some cholesterol things in level, and I can tell you from experience, my triglycerides 6 months ago were in 700s, and I got them down. So yes, 700s. Runs high in my family. I look at my blood work, I was like, holy crap, this is worse than most of my patients. 1 month using Cataplex G and some oils, I got them down to 171. I ran my blood work, looked at my blood work back in 05 because I knew it ran a little high then. It runs high in my family, but we're not scared of the cholesterol stuff. I eat better than 90% of my patients, and I knew that did not match up with me. My glucose was low, but when that triglyceride level's up and that glucose level starts climbing up, you're walking that diabetic realm, and you do not want to deal with diabetes. Not today. Click that next one there. Number 21, aloe vera. This stuff is amazing right here. I'm going to kind of blow through the stuff here a little bit, try to hit that 9 o'clock spot for you guys, but we use this with skin wounds, burns, scald. I tell you what, you got some internal bleeding, some stomach issues as far as gastritis, ulcers, we're going to recommend going and get some aloe vera juice, sipping and drinking on that kind of stuff there, along with using some chlorophyll products to help heal the stomach. How do you know if aloe vera juice, drinking that internally is going to be something for you? The people who do apple cider vinegar with water and that hurts their stomach and tears their stomach up need some type of healing component to their stomach, because that's gastritis. You're introducing more acid to your stomach and it's making it worse. It's going to irritate that gastritis and that ulcer, so you need healing components to that stomach to heal that up. Aloe vera is one of those things that we would recommend. Goes on to say, works great with the blisters, the rashes, herpes, athlete's foot, vaginal infections, allergic reactions, dry skin, sunburns. This we're going to use a lot. When I use this, it's going to be a lot more with the sunburn stuff there. Topical uses, the acne, sunburn, frostbite, shingles, psoriasis, preventing scarring, rosacea, warts, wrinkles from aging, eczema, things of that nature. It's great stuff, great superfood property to that there. You can click that next one there. Green tea. Oh, this is great right here. A lot of literature, tons of literature on this stuff. This is PubMed right here. It contains EGCG. This is the major catechin found in green tea right here, this polyphenolic compound. This is one of the things that we put all our post-cancers and patients with cancer issues on. The product called Vitanox, which I'll talk about next, has the green tea compound in there. My mornings, I have a cup of green tea. I put some raw honey in there, stir that. I drink that on the way to work. And then when I get to work, that little shake mix that you guys have on your handouts, that's what I make in the morning. And I blaze, I tell you what, I blaze in the morning, absolutely blaze. The anti-cancer properties to that compound, Vitanox, green tea extract, rosemary, grapeseed extract, turmeric. Turmeric is huge. I'll be talking a ton about that in my next lecture. You had a question?
Yeah, green tea, I was told by a friend who went to an herbalist that green tea is only effective if you take it when it's hot. Because once it gets cold like an iced tea, then it no longer has the...
Not necessarily, no. No, there's the compound they use in the Vitanox. I mean, I gotta look at that. I think they might use the root or the leaves on that. You know, when you get into the herbal stuff, they use different parts of the plant that are high in it. But I haven't heard that as far as it getting cold and not being effective there. But I absolutely love it. You could go to the cider mills right now, pick up some raw honey. That raw honey's got the propolis, it's got the bee pollen, it's got all the beneficial properties to that honey in there. Mixing that with your tea, you got a superfood drink right on the way to work there. I'm good to go with that there. Click that next one. Pineapple. This is a very important compound. I'm going to blow away a little secret at our office here. Pineapple is a tropical fruit, contains a proteolytic enzyme called bromelain, which helps in the digestion of protein. Pineapple can prevent blood clot formation because of its bromelain content. All these patients that have cardiac factors like lipoprotein A, fibrinogen, C-reactive protein, that they form clots and they have issues like that, we're going to use a product with high bromelain in it to help digest these clots out of people's legs, hearts, lungs, and things like this. It's not a Lipitor deficiency, it's not a Plavix deficiency, it's not a coumanin deficiency. This is the stuff that sneaks around in people. And I tell you what, you need to run those get in the office and run those cardiac factors if you have heart attacks and strokes that run in the family. This stuff's very important. Bob Probert, I would have ran this on Bob Probert. He was age 45 when he died. His dad was 40. He's got a genetic factor like that going on. I had a NFL football player that died on me. He had gout and acid reflux. Fix those two things, and he croaked of a heart attack. I look at his chart. All three brothers are dead at age in their 50s, and his dad died around 50. These are the things that are preventable, and you could run through blood work. You could walk through a crowd with this stuff here. Multiple stents, and shunts, and things like that. These are cardiac factors you need to run. You could click that next one here. But that property right there, bromelain CLA, that's something we'll test you exactly for your dose in the office, but that's what we're going to use. That's your pineapple pill right there. You can click the next one. Kiwi fruit is great with the heart health. It's got your vitamin C, your vitamin E, polyphenols, magnesium, potassium, B vitamins, and copper. All support cardiovascular health. That's a nice superfood right there. You click the next one there. Acerola berry, aka the Barbados cherry, contains antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, proteins, and vitamin C. One of the top berries for vitamin C content. This is actually in that nitro green drink. That green drink, this got some of that crushed up powder, this acerola berry in there. So that's part of that stuff there. That's my top 25. You could click that next one here. Benefits of that product there: immune support, anti-aging, mood enhancer, antiseptic, anti-inflammation, balances blood fats. You could click the next one here. Before you leave, if you did not get that sheet there, it's on the table back there. It's got my little handout. Yep, she's holding up right there. It's got that little product right here. This is what I do first thing I get to work here. 12 ounces of coconut milk here. 1 scoop of Zorex, that's my egg whites, that's my chocolate, that's my whey protein. A scoop of my nitro greens, that's all my green stuff. Put it right in this standard process. I'll talk about this next. A little shaker, you shake that all around. You got your superfood, you're good to go right there. Absolutely blaze in the morning. If you want to do little extra things and boost your immune system, the powder IAG helps boost your natural killer cells. This right down here, that Biodophilus, that's your probiotic there. The diabetic people, throw a scoop of cinnamon in there. Make it your protein shake. Customize it. Do what you want for that there. You could go to the next one there. This is that shaker. Standard you can inquire about this at the office here. Standard Process puts this out. This is a BPA-free shaker. I guarantee you all those other ones that you see on the market are not all BPA-free. It's huge because this plastic is killing everyone. Next one there. The coffee lovers. I'll do this here too. I didn't have that one written down there, but it's pretty similar. A cup of coffee, half scoop of the Zorex. You could throw some raw chocolate in there if you want. Coconut creamer. You could find coconut creamer, ice in a blender, and you got a little superfood latte right there. That Zorex protein is the only one that mixes well with hot drinks. You do a scoop, half scoop of that in coffee with that chocolate, it tastes just like a mocha. That's got natural sweeteners in that Zorex, where you don't have to throw in all your artificial sweeteners or sugar or anything like that. I tell you what, you look up aspartame, side effects of aspartame, and all the people chewing gum that are getting this stuff, you don't want that stuff in you. Click the next one here. Daily protocol, I know that's a little hard to see. This lecture, I'm going to give you an email. You could get this entire PowerPoint if you miss some things here. That's your kaolin, your minerals, your oils, your chlorophyll, your Vitanox. You can click the next one here. That's how you get your 91 things right here. If you want to be a little bit more economical here, your daily packs here is about $1 a day. This is about 60 bucks, and it's got 60 packs in here. You got 3 kaolin in there, 2 tuna oil, and 1 trace mineral B12. If you want to be a little bit more economical, that's the way to be economical there. You can click the next one there. Asyra, you go to asyra.com. We test a lot of food allergies and different things in there, get some great results, even with some autistic kids, things that were struggling. Nice, cool little fine-tuning thing that you could do for yourself. It makes a little homeopathic liquid there for you. So you just take the liquid until that runs out there. Let's click the next one. You can fax over your supplements, or you could order online now too, diversehealthservices.com. You could order your supplements online. Click the next one. I might test someone up here. I got some papers. If someone wants to come up here, I might test them. Check that there. If you have questions, comments, concerns, send it to my email, drjeffsential@gmail. Right there. If you want a copy of this PowerPoint, go to Yahoo Mail. The username is DHS Chiropractic, and the password is DHS777. Once you log in, it's in the inbox, and you can get a copy of this PowerPoint if you missed something there. I'm going to stay after for some questions, and I might test someone up here real quickly. You could cut that there. Everyone likes to see some muscle testing stuff, so I might